Hello traders. In this week's Market Watch video, we're going to go through some trades that we took in the previous week and then a couple trades that we will be taking this week coming up. So first up, we got the pound dollar, and we can see that on a daily time frame, which is what I call the bird's eye view of the market. We are in a bearish market, overall down. Nothing really significant as far as a reversal except for this retest of the bottom, little double bottom here. So how do we take advantage of the market? Well, the dailies, that's if you're looking to invest long-term as far as trading this market, but I like the short-term trades. So what I will do is note that we are in a form of consolidation. So if I take the highs of this consolidation and the lows, you will see that we have a little trading zone that we're in. And typically in consolidation, you can find patterns. So let's go down to a smaller time frame and see if we can identify anything occurring in the market. So same thing. Now we're on a 4-hour chart, and we can see that within this consolidation zone, we've definitely made a nice push to the high side right here. A little rally, or I'm sorry, not rally, outside return, pullback. And if I clone this, we may have a little harmonic move here, right there. Boom. So we got a nice little ABCD. The market has started to turn over. We are in this little area of previous resistance, which technically should hold as support in this move up. You may get a break out of this consolidation zone. So remember, on the dailies, we had a double bottom, which consists of a possible reversal. So here on the 4-hour, we have a 50% retracement here on this up move, ABCD pattern. We may get another push up right here. So how can we take advantage of that? We can drop down to a even smaller time frame to possibly see a reason for entry. So from what I'm seeing, for all you trend line traders, is if we matched all the tops here, in all technicality, this would be a micro trend on a 4-hour, and we can expect a breakout right here and catch a nice little momentum to the upside. So that'll be a nice little trade. Minimal risk considering we are in a strong level of structure here. We can put our stops at the lows. So our trade would look something like this if we get a breakout. Let's do stops below the low. Targets at resistance. There's our gray box from the dailies. So we can definitely use that as a target. And we would get just under a 2-to-1, assuming that this level of structure will hold and we'll get a breakout to the top side. Now, on the flip side here, let me get rid of all this. We're going to go back to a 4-hour time frame. And what you can notice is if we mark these swings, right, here's the high, outside return, another push up, and now we're pushing down. So if this structure level here does not hold and it continues to push downward, we can definitely take a couple fibs here and we may be able to see a nice little harmonic pattern. Because typically what happens in consolidating markets is you will get a harmonic pattern. So we saw the ABCD patterns here, and now what I'm seeing, let me mark some fib extensions, is we got a 50% retracement. We pushed into the 1272. We did not pass the 1414. So if right? If then here, if we get a retracement back into a 786, then we can definitely see a completion of a cipher pattern. And I'll give it a zone. It's our kill zone, 786 to the 886. So if we see something like this, right, X to A to B, B to C, and down into the 786, we will definitely have a nice little cipher pattern completion. Obviously, this is a 4-hour chart, so it is going to take some time. We're probably talking about midweek here for this 4-hour pattern. Otherwise, you're trading a smaller time frame and just trading the little tiny swings here. But for all you swing traders, you can definitely look out for this move. You know, how can you take advantage of that? Well, before I show you how you can take advantage of this move, we can also add a little bit of confluence here with our fib inversion, right? Here's the 1272, right? Let's do from A to B extension. And we got a 1272 matching up with the 786, the 1414, the 1272 over here of this inversion. So we got a little cluster effect going on. So here's our entire zone right about there of what we're going to watch for as far as this cipher pattern completion. So how can we take advantage of this this move? So let's go down to the 1 hour once again. And obviously we can see on a 1 hour that this has been trending downward. You know, and our first analysis was we're at a 50% retracement on an overall move, ABCD pattern, and we're looking for new structure highs. But if those highs, if we don't get a break here, let me redraw that trend line that I had earlier. If we don't get a break here from this trend line, right, supposed micro trend on a 4 hour to the upside, if this holds and continues downwards, well, our next level of interest will be back up into here, which would be around the 1.32850s for this market to retest this level of resistance, which should hold us, or it should hold us resistance from previous support here on a smaller time frame. And if it does hold, then we're looking at a move to the downside. And that will just give me even more confidence about the cipher pattern. But if we get a break to the upside, then I'm looking at trend continuation on a 4 hour. It will probably be a swing trade, and we'll be holding this market until resistance has been hit, as long as it's creating those higher lows and higher highs, just running right back into structure. So that's something for you guys to look out for on the pound dollar. What I do want to mention is, if I get rid of everything here, we did take advantage because on the 1 hour chart, you'll notice that the pound dollar has been rising steadily. So if I actually do one of these, which also kind of gives me a little bit of a stronger feeling about that cipher pattern on a 4 hour time frame, is we did get a nice, I think we spotted it on the 4 actually. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, we did. We spotted on the 4 hour this nice little head and shoulders, right? And we took advantage of this on Friday. I called it out for our traders. We got the break at the neckline. We sold it here, and it was a nice little move downward. We took profits before the market closed. And so now we're just looking to either re-enter to this downside or to watch for that break to the upside, and it'll produce a bias of a higher new structure high. So that's the pound dollar. The next pair I'd like to look at is the pound yen. So yeah, my focus is definitely on the pound. Same process, top-down analysis. Let's get that bird's eye view. Reset, there you go. So obviously overall bearish. We have not made any new structure highs. Same thing, we got the little double bottom here going on a daily. So what I'm going to do is, since we are in a little range, here's our bottom and here's our top. We have not broken these highs, so we are in consolidation. But what you notice is it's definitely on a push up. So go down to a 4-hour time frame. Let's see, is there any way we could take advantage of this market? Well, we definitely do have a few things going on here. One, for all you trendline traders, I'm trying to accommodate for all types of traders, so that's why I'm just kind of shouting you guys out. For you trendline traders, we've definitely been riding this trendline support here, and we're looking like we possibly may get the break to the downside, but we do have a couple bullish moves here that's stopping me from actually creating that bias. So for you trendline traders, I'd probably sit on my hands on this, but what we can notice on this 4-hour chart, if I consolidate my chart here, let me get a horizontal line. You can see that the market has definitely been on a steady uptrend, producing higher highs, higher lows, and respecting structure here. So there's some nice levels of structure being respected. And finally, we are right in here. Let me zoom in. Okay, we're right in this consolidation right here. We have some consolidation right here. Okay, so we were making higher highs and higher lows. We got the break of structure. We broke this low right here. Make this red. We broke this low right here, so we made a lower low, and it looks like we made a lower high on a 4-hour. So right now, my attention is, do we potentially have a reversal to the downside? So I've dropped down to a 1-hour just to kind of see what we got going on a closer perspective. And if you notice, we've made a high, a low. Actually, let me do this here. So we got a high, we got a low, lower high, lower low, and now we're at a lower high. So we're definitely making consistent lower lows and lower highs. And our next question is, how do we take advantage of this? How do we get ourselves in this market? Well, for one, we made a lower high. I'm sorry, I should have said this. The lower high was right here, and then a higher high, and then a higher low, and then a higher high. But on an hourly time frame, what this looks like to me is consolidation, maybe possibly a micro uptrend in the context of this major downtrend that's forming. So trendline traders, you can definitely just mark the bottoms here and wait for a break. You know, it looks like we may get it depending on the weekend gap. Or when it comes to consolidation, right? Markets in consolidation, we have a couple opportunities here as far as pattern traders. So let me do one of these. If I take my fib here, fib retracement. So we got here, let me fix my retracement level. Sorry, guys. So it looks like we have a 382 here. So I'm going to get rid of the ones that we did not hit. So I got a 382. Then we take our fib extension. Right, swing low to swing high. Back down in. Boom. And looks like we hit the 1272. We did not close past the 1414. That definitely allows me to start thinking possible cipher pattern on the 1 hour chart for the pound yen. So if we do get a cipher pattern, I'm looking for that kill zone at the 786 to the 886, which is right back down into previous support. So that definitely gives a little bit of confluence. Here's what the pattern looks like for aesthetics purposes here. X to A to B, B to C, and then back down in. C to D. Oops. Every time I double click, the screen keeps flipping. You notice if you guys have an RSI on there, we are near the oversold condition. So, you know, maybe down here we'll get that little cross into that oversold territory. If you're like me and you want extra confluence, we have a thing called fib inversions, so we can do that. Nice little fib inversion, and it looks like that 786 has confluence with the 1272 of a fib inversion. Let me get rid of the ones we don't need. Bam, bam. Got the 1272. We can use a fib going this way. See what we got here. 1272 right there, and possibly we're looking at a 1618 or 1414. All those fibs definitely line in here. So another little cluster of Fibonacci here for this kill zone, and that'll give us a nice little move to the upside here as soon as we get the kill zone. So you know, that's all I want to show you guys for today in the market watch. You know, a couple things to look out for again: the pound dollar on a 4 hour having a cipher pattern, or a trend continuation trade if we get a break to the upside of this trend line right here. Just a reminder. Okay, so if it continues downward, I'm looking for the cipher pattern. If it breaks to the upside, I'm looking at trend continuation. On the pound yen, I'm looking at we do have a strong move to the upside, so I'm trying to take advantage of maybe that. And this cipher pattern will definitely get us into that trade towards the upside. If it does reverse, however, we are in a pullback here. If I take my fibs once again, we are in an overall pullback of a 618, I believe. Okay, 618. Oh, yep. So we are in a pullback of a 618, and if this decides to push downward, go back to a 4 hour. If this decides to push downward, then we're looking at a possible extension to the 1272 or the 1414 levels. Probably the 1414, considering we do have a little bit of structure here. And then also with harmonics having, here's our A to B, right? And if I clone that, here's our 618 retracement, plop that in, and you'll see the ABCD pattern completion at the 1414 in confluence with structure. So we'll be definitely looking for some of that stuff. And if we do get that ABC pattern, wow, there's just patterns forming everywhere, guys. If we do get that confluence, then we can definitely use this swing for a fib, right? And we can put in, it's probably another 618. We get the 618. We got the 618 right here. 618. I know it looks confusing, guys, but this right here, we mark it with this line. Swing low to swing high back down in. Here to here, which should be about a what? Another 618? Oh, it is another. Duh, we're on that. So we got a 618 pullback, another 618 pullback. If we get the completion of a 1272, we will have on the 4 hour a nice bullish Gartley. And there it is, 1272. So on the 1 hour, we got a bullish cipher pattern. On the 4 hour, we have a nice bullish Gartley. Bam. So definitely a lot of structure trades, pattern trades going on. But that is definitely what I'm looking out for, guys. There's 4 different opportunities. Trend continuation on the pound dollar, or an overall cipher pattern, which is going to take a while for that to complete, or on the pound yen, which is also my favorite pair. We have the overall bullish Gartley, or if you drop down to a 1 hour, we definitely have a bullish cipher pattern. All right. So until then, next week, traders, happy trading and good profits.